Right, hello. Yeah, I couldn't even think of a title for this stream in all honesty, because there wasn't any sort of major news articles I was reacting to. I was going to see on the BBC if there's anything about Corona that's sort of worth talking about that's new. An article on how to make your own face mask. Basically showing what I did in the video of, this is one where they've actually done elastic bands on it, meaning it's a bit more thorough, but you can just literally tie it around the back of your head, which might be a bit easier for some people, I reckon. But anyway, there's that. The thing is, the UK furlough scheme extends, but didn't they say they were lowering it? But I don't know how that's going to work so hello to everybody joining. I'll say hello to all of you properly in a minute. But yeah, I didn't know if they were saying something earlier about cutting it from 80 to 60%, but who knows. So hello Richard, hello Briggs, hello Email, hello Cheeky Breaky, hello HypeQX, hello Mr. Livera, hello Herasmu, hello Delta, hello Alex, hello Cherno Inferno, hello Botanimus, hello Ian, hello Primitive Hunter, hello Marco, hello Steve, hello Fuzzy, hello Mom Spaghetti. So hello to everybody. If anybody's got any questions, re-ask them, because obviously I think most people are saying hello, but yeah. So I haven't got around to filming the video for tomorrow yet. So I was going to ask in here if there was any particular theme people thought might be good, assuming it's not something I've done loads and loads of times before. All right, Damien. I mean, the UK has one of the worst death rates in the world for Corona. Thank you very much, Chris from HR. He says, I'll donate a little more when my Boris bucks come. But cheers. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say really, isn't it? Because you can't, I suppose there is the argument you can't directly. And thank you very much, Cultured Ape, for posting a unicorn and giving me some money. I appreciate it. But yeah, I don't think you can really, as much as the politicians use this as an excuse, I don't think you can really compare countries too directly. Just in the sense that obviously different population densities in cities, different healthcare levels of quality. The thing is, I wouldn't mind doing more gas mask videos. It's just doing something I've not done over and over before. You know what I mean? That's a decent price, your nan, considering how bad a lot of the time, well, not how bad, but how much they can cost a lot of the time, being over $100, pounds, or whatever. So Marco is very enthusiastically wanting me to do more gas mask videos, which I certainly wouldn't mind doing. It's just thinking of a good subject for it. I mean, I know the subject's gas mask, but out of a particular lot of masks, I mean, I suppose one that I'm kind of feel like doing, because I've not really got round to doing it, is comparing the C4, the M40, and sort of the S10, because, like the sort of Canada, America, British sort of masks from that period. But yeah, so I'll probably do a gas mask video. Another video I want to do, but it won't necessarily be the one for tomorrow. It might be one for the day after, is common household radioactive items. Just because now I've got that Fiesta ware dish, I find that quite funny to do. Just because, the idea of let's paint some crockery with uranium-based paint. Why not, Right, I'm glad to hear it's getting better in Italy. I mean, the problem we're getting in most places, obviously, the risk of a second wave. The UK seems to be over its current peak. But obviously, the danger is the more people start going back to work, the more you risk a second peak. I suppose there are 404. What I could do, actually, you've given me an idea there. Now, I've got one of those really crap Chinese refillable filters here. That doesn't work very well to refill. So what I might do with this one is open this up, get all the charcoal out, wash it all out, and then fill it with a custom particle filter thing, which won't be as good as a proper particle filter, but would actually be something. That might be actually quite a good idea for a video, I think. Your man says it's from Silverman. Can they be trusted? Is that a surplus seller? Unless it's one I've used before, I don't know. Cheers, Secure Mindset. Obviously, I didn't read it, write it even. I did read it. I just responded to the questions. It was Alex, if he's in the chat. I think he said hello a while ago, who wrote it. But I actually had some people send me messages on Facebook I hadn't talked to since school saying, oh, congratulations, I saw you're in an article, which is quite nice. Cool, let me look that one up, Rolandus, because there was a couple of different Soviet dosimeters of various types that people thought would be that. But let's look that one up. Ah, now that's interesting, because that is one that Hype was looking at before. So, but that wasn't the same one as the scintillator, but I said to Hype it maxed out, because didn't it? The biggest scale on it is, like you said, 1,000 times a micro-Rontgen per second. 1,000 micro-Rontgens is 1 milli-Rontgen. 1 milli-Rontgen in a Rontgen. So, 1 milli-Rontgen times, 1 milli-Rontgen per second for an hour is 3.6 Rontgen. So yeah, I'll definitely have to try and get one of those. Weirdly, I've got a British one that looks quite similar to that coming quite soon. But yeah, that's a nice looking thing. But yeah, I'll definitely have to put RK01, Radiometer RK01, into eBay and see if I can get one, because that would be really cool just to have a Geiger that goes to 3.6 Rontgen, wouldn't it? But, yeah, a lot of them do say that, your man, though, just to cover themselves against, people then trying to sue them later on because they used it for something and didn't use it properly. Yeah, I did, White Wolf. I think I did an updated video on it, didn't I, with the visor? I'm not sure if it's currently in this room, so I might have put it away in like a cargo, not a cargo container. That sounds way too sophisticated for me. But I may have put it away in a... No, you're in luck. Am I a hoarder? Not really. I mean, because I do videos on all this stuff. This is the messiest looking room in the house, because whenever I get surplus, it just normally sits on here for a while. But what you'll probably end up seeing eventually, as I'm cleaning stuff, oh, there goes something into the box, is there'll be some shelving units put up in some other rooms in the house. And then what will end up happening is this will start looking neater and neater behind me, because the stuff that's piled up a bit more here will end up looking neater. Because I don't know if you probably can't see with that, but if you see there, look, that is a bit neater on that side, because I've got crates that, are stacked with stuff in them, and then a few random bits on the top. It's just that bit looks particularly messy because it's one sort of old cardboard box that was just quite a big capacity one. I've got lots of random crap in. What was that, White Wolf? Sorry. I thought I did. Let me search what it was called. But yeah, I'll put it on for you now if you want to see it. But yeah, these are really comfy, actually. I'd say they're much better than the British ones when it comes to quality of the actual helmet. But they don't offer quite as much coverage. Let me just take my glasses off, because it's always really hard to get glasses on the right helmets properly. This is also more comfortable when I didn't have hair on my head saying that. Oh, I tell you what's happened. That really annoying thing where the straps on my helmet sometimes actually sort of pull into the helmet on top of your head. Let's try that again. There we go. Right, let me look up what the video was called for you, because I did find out its proper name, this helmet. But yeah, the only thing is the visors on these are pretty compact compared to the British Riot helmet visors. They're all right. It's just the Mark III is like a much sturdier, bigger Riot helmet, but this is like a much more comfortable, lightweight one. Right. It is called the Russian SHZPU Riot Helmet Review. I'm pretty sure I put the visor on in that video. If not, oh, I might not have done. Right, I'll do an updated video on it. You're completely correct. I've definitely shown it before in a video with the thing, but it probably wasn't a dedicated video. So yeah, I'll have to, White Wolf, probably one day coming up this week, do an updated video on this, and I might compare it a bit more directly to the British Riot helmets I've got as well. Ah, yeah, you know, because you watched it today. See, that's the problem with me, is when I've done videos, quite a lot of videos over the years, I forget sometimes what's in what video. Like, I get the vague idea I've done something. You see, sometimes it might have been like this, where I was just showing it in a stream with the visor on, going, look, it's got the visor now. Sadly, not Delta. You can sometimes find spares and repairs parts on eBay, but a lot of the time it's easier just to buy a completely new gas mask. If it was for free Arsenator and it all worked out, I would love to move somewhere like America. One of the main things I like of America is just how low the population density is, you know, in a lot of the states compared to the UK. As in, it's a lot more rural and nice in that regard, as well as the gun things. The only thing that'd be a problem for me is, of course, that because I'm chronically ill, I imagine that would really fuck me over on healthcare costs in America and all that. But yeah, I mean, I've done a video like that before, Chris from HR, but I could do a video like that again. I certainly wouldn't mind doing one like that again. What I suppose I could feature it more like, you know, with coronavirus and other stuff, what things would work for what, and then I can explain a difference between what's the way of saying it? Like, trying to think of the word for it. You know, like how a particle filter doesn't stop chemical agents, but it would protect you from inhaling virus microns. Sorry, Fox Sickness says, what is that mask beside the two big filters on the shelf in the back? Ah, that's the MM1 with a tank helmet on top of it. I would get it down, but it's a bit of a pain to get back on because it's on a foam head. But I think in one of these bags I've got another MM1, but yeah, the MM1 is the Soviet tank crewman's mask, and it's with a Soviet tank helmet actually on top of it. You know, so that's the mask is designed to fit with the Soviet tank helmets. Right, Charlie, you all right? Yes, I would say so, White Wolf. Like I said, this one probably offers a bit less protection than the British one, but it's a lot more comfortable. Yeah, because obviously you can probably see there that the visor only goes to about your mouth. I mean, you could probably tilt it forwards a bit more and find a way of getting it to go down more. But yeah, I would say out of all the helmets I've got, this is the one with, you know, it's definitely the most comfortable. So if you were stuck with a helmet on for quite a long time, you'd probably want this helmet on, just because you probably see from there, you know, it's got the really nice kind of fabric mesh kind of inside stuff to it, where the British ones are often just like a bit of foam with some fabric glued to it. Also, because this is pretty much, you know, it was basically a brand new item that had just been surplused for whatever reason, it doesn't smell of sweat or you know, have other people's dandruff in it. You know, obviously my dandruff's in it now and everything, because that always happens as soon as you put a helmet on. What, the riot visor, you mean, Sir Shadow? It's like that, basically. So it's on a pivot kind of thing like that. There was a couple of extra attachments I didn't put on that came with this. I just put it on in its most basic form, which I think probably let you, you know, keep it in one position a bit easier than another. But yeah, so that's obviously its pivot. That's when it's fully pivoted down. So, you know, the idea is it mostly just protects your eyes and most of your face. But this is obviously, cheers, Mac. This is obviously, yeah, this is obviously a Riot helmet that's designed more to be just a lightweight, practical one. Yeah, it is good for that, Alex, because the problem I have with, like, this is closest to the old British Mark I Riot helmets. Because the British Mark III Riot helmet I've got, which I do quite like, but it's the one that, you know, was meant to be my size and wasn't, and I had to shave loads of the inside of it off to fit me. But as you can see, this is actually, I'll put that light back on, this is actually quite nice kind of foam material inside. So, you know, it's more like a proper high-quality crash helmet, there's the label, than, you know, some of the other ones. So, yeah, it's a very good helmet. But yeah, some Riot helmets do have bigger visors, and obviously, yeah, there's pros and cons, like all these things, of visor size. If you have a Riot helmet with a really, really big visor, it's going to cover more of your face and protect more of your face. But then the visor's more likely to collide with potentially your body armor. This one, it won't do that. So if you've got a bulky bit of body armor on, like that French body armor up there, That's there's a video on that where I'm getting hit with it on, with that French body armor, for example, because that's quite bulbous around that area. Some riot helmets won't work properly with it. I've never seen one that come with bystander tinted things, but you could always tint them yourself. 11HHH30 if you buy that window tint film. Now, if you ever wanted to get a riot shield, I would definitely, as cool as the big riot shields are, I would definitely recommend the, if I can get this out without knocking stuff over, because it's sort of neatly, for me, it's quite neatly put away. I don't want the SLR to fall into frame. That would break YouTube's policy on firearms during streams. Right, there's that. Now, this can go back into the gap. So can this gun. Yeah. If you ever want to get a riot shield, the best ones I found are the lightweight riot shields, like these, because you can actually move them around quickly. The big tall riot shields, as much as they give you a lot more coverage, you can't move around with them easily. I'll be on another 45 minutes or so. I haven't been on very long. But yeah, if you ever get a riot shield and can get around one just because they are a lot more practical for a single person using them. Yep, I have. Well, actually, I don't have the M72. I have the M36 Fox Sickness. My mate Bart, I got him an M72 for his birthday. If I was going to have to be an apocalyptic scenario, it'd have to be one where I'd find it personally interesting, because at least if you're going to die in one, you might as well be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it could be, because these are all police surplus hype, it could be that it's either seen combat or they were used for training, because my big riot shield had lots of burn marks on it I had to clean off when I first got it. Obviously, in training, they have Molotovs thrown at the officers training with the shields. No, I haven't seen that, but that's interesting, WG. I've been watching a lot of photonic induction videos recently. Who's a bit of a crazy guy, but his videos are lovely. For those of you who haven't seen photonic, and thank you very much, 11HHH30. For those of you who haven't seen photonic induction's video, it's fucking mad. The thing is, he's a proper electrical engineer, and I don't think a lot of people get that when they watch his videos. Because basically, because he's a proper electrical engineer, he obviously knows what he's doing with some quite dangerous electrical stuff. But he gives the impression, I think, to a lot of people that he's just somehow stumbled across, like kilovolt transformers and all that. And is just randomly doing it for the sake of doing it. But yeah, it's a shame. Like, there's some stuff that happened in his personal life, and he deleted the video on that. So obviously, I won't repeat what it was. But I think he's actually coming back to do videos again. Yeah. Yeah, I know about that, James, but I have no use for them. But it's for vets, isn't it, to shoot horses in the head, basically. That's why they have those. Yeah, Ian explains during riot police training, they do throw Molotovs, but like Peach says, mainly at their feet. It's more just so they can practice doing that. Obviously, they've got all the riot armor on and flame retardant clothing, and I'm sure they have medics on standby. It's just so it's more of a real situation. I think they have across the UK a couple of specially created riot town type things. Where it's like a sort of housing block, more like a film set type one, and it's just so the police train actually moving through streets and alleyways with people throwing stuff at them and stuff like that. I think it's like the police just take it in turns to switch sides, sometimes being the rioters. Mostly Ashton. The one I wore again today was just the Alpha Mesh. Just because when I went to the pharmacy, that's a light little compact dust style mask, but one that keeps close to your head. I've only got the old Oculus Rift Brandon reviewer. I think they're on a newer generation of the Rift now. It's all right, but have I ever been in a riot? Thankfully, Gabriel, no. I've been in when I used to work in Oxford, you'd sometimes be in Oxford and then there'd be a protest going on that got a little bit hairy, but not ever proper riots. I think the most they'd ever have with that was, I think there was one protest where there was 5 National Front losers, whatever they're called, go like, Hail Hitler, and they were somewhere, and like the police had them basically, just stood there, where they couldn't do anything. But then there was a massive counter protest of like, Antifa type people, and then it ended up causing like fucking chaos, for all the buses and traffic, just because of, essentially two probably equally dumb groups of idiots. I do, but I'm furloughed, fox sickness. Normally I work at the weekends and I volunteer with the Blue Cross on Thursdays. At the moment I can't volunteer, although I'm hoping they're going to email me very soon because the government's telling a lot of people to go back to work, so I'm really hoping I can go back to volunteering soon. Yeah, I certainly know they are bad, Brandon, because they harass the channel now and again, not very effectively. That's cool, secure mindset, but oh no. Look at the chat. Goodbye. But the thing is, Black Nature, I don't know how true a lot of that is, but I could certainly believe with coronavirus, as I said, that maybe it came from a lab. Not that it was a bioweapon, but, it was from vaccine research. Somebody dropped a vial, it wasn't disposed of properly. I could definitely believe something like that. Whether or not I believe it's a bioweapon, I don't know. I suppose it's possible. But again, there's lots of different people saying different things who know a lot more about biology than me, because I'm really not qualified to talk about that at all. All right, Mike, what you been playing on Fallout 76 or what? Fox Sickness says, uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Before you came on Hype, somebody was mentioning that Geiger counter you sent me a picture of, the one that goes to 3.6 Rontgen. Which London riots? Was it the big ones in 2011? Because I know sometimes there's been like little student riots, hasn't there, as well, which is more just some students smash some windows and put some graffiti on stuff. Right, Puffin guy. Keep the Puffins are great birds, by the way, so nice username. Keep the mask out of direct sunlight. So basically, if you've got a room where the windows, there's a big window, don't put the mask somewhere where the UV light is going to come through the sunlight and hit the mask. That's a good start. Ideally, keep the mask in a container or like a cupboard if it's not in its satchel. Well, the person just told me to Google the name of it. If that person's still in the chat, can they repeat the message? Because it was probably really far up. But it was like the RGO1 or something they called it. Let me just search RGO1 Geiger counter. Is that the name of it? Or am I imagining that? No, that's not coming up with any results. There's a few that are affordable, Gabriel. What sort of budget do you have? And then I can suggest something. Because you can get markedly different things at different price ranges. Yeah, Steve, that's the thing. I've heard a lot of stories like that, and like I said, that's something I can more believe rather than they were making a bioweapon and then they completely released it by accident. Because I mean, unless they're Umbrella, I don't think that's how they act. Yeah, see, Hype. I'd listen to Hype in the chat here because he's actually qualified to talk about this. He's got some sort of like biology degree, so he's a lot more qualified. And one of my friends I went to school with, and I spoke to him quite recently. I hadn't spoken with him in ages, but as we're all in lockdown, we were playing video games together, and because he's a biologist, like I'm not sure if he's actually a proper doctorate like in biology now, but I was asked, firing off questions about corona to him, and he was explaining a lot of stuff, which is really interesting. The thing I learned from him is like if there's a flu called H1N1, it doesn't mean it's the same flu as another flu called H1N1, which I didn't know. So the old bird flu that caused the Spanish flu, the 1918 flu, that was a H1N1, but it's not the same as the modern H1N1. All right, Richard, welcome back. So that's annoying Mystic Gamer if she's not doing all the quarantine stuff. Hello, Arnold Rimmer. Anybody in the chat who was asking a question that I missed, just re-ask it, because I know somebody was asking something about Romanian helmets, and I'm pretty sure I missed answering that one. But I don't think I have any Romanian helmets, no. I've got a bit of Romanian, like Warsaw Pact military, but not very much. I don't know, Brandon, in all honesty. I think my theory is a lot of the time you get people with kind of extreme ideologies that end up watching your videos, liking them, and then they want you to personally have the same ideology they have. And when you're basically like, no, Nazism is stupid or communism is stupid, they take it personally. Oh, look, I've got a grey hair. My hair's starting to go grey. Doesn't surprise me, but, you know. There was another grey hair I had a while ago that was quite noticeable, which was quite funny. Right, see you, secure mindset. Have a good day. I mean, I don't know, Gas Mask Collector, why we need a 50-page manual to explain the new rules. Yep, we have a budgie. It's technically my mum's budgie, but I'm looking after it because she's caring for my grandparents at the moment. Yeah, I might do again, Alex, fairly soon. But yeah, now when you notice grey hairs, you can't unsee them, can you? But yeah, it's just yeah, I don't know why I've not done it recently, because sometimes, you know, I'd shave my hair a lot more often, and at the moment, you know, there's no reason I wouldn't, because I do it myself anyway. I've just not got round to it on an evening I feel like doing it. I don't think there's such a thing as a proper collector FHK, because I think using the term like proper collector and not a proper collector just gets thrown around as an insult from people who want to feel big about themselves. Oh, look, that person's back again. What a surprise. It says they're still hidden, though, but they're spamming the chat. Oh, it's because Richard hid them. But yeah, for the people who saw that, that's the sort of stuff we have to put up with on here, you know. That's interesting, Hype. I mean, a lot of that will go over my head just because, you know, I've not read anywhere near as much into biology stuff as I have with physics to talk more accurately about Geiger counters. Yeah, I think that's a good bit about it, Justin Vapor, because, yeah, telling people to wear masks, I think, is a good step forward, rather than saying, oh, we're following the science, and the science can't agree on it, even though every other country was basically saying you ought to wear masks on public transport. Bayonets are legal in the UK. I mean, I'm sure it's not legal to fix a bayonet or just randomly walk around with bayonets in the street. And when I say fix bayonets, I mean obviously put them on a gun and then walk around that in the street. But very much could be weapon collector. But like we've said before, there's a lot of sad idiots, aren't there, that watch our videos, constantly dislike them, you know, are homophobic, you know, anti-Semitic and everything else, you know, and they take it personally every time they get blocked, and then they cry that we're suppressing their free speech because we don't want them to talk about stuff like that. But hello, Magnificent Bar Steward. But yeah, in terms of bayonets, perfectly legal in the UK. Not to, as I said, walk around with in the street, but in terms of just simply bayonets themselves, nothing legally wrong with bayonets. That's one of my favourite ones, the Swiss one from the Sturmgewehr 57, whatever it was called, the SIG 510. Yeah, I've got the GMC 500, dear love. The GMC series, it is all right. It depends what the price are, because I would say if you're getting one of these for the same price as a Terra-P, as much as it's got a much better display than the Terra-P, I'd say the Terra-P is overall a much better Geiger. But again, it depends what you're after, you know, because the things like the GMQ, GMC, whatever they're called, like 300s, they have a lower range, but they'll certainly tell you if something's background or higher than background. You know, as long as you realize that when it's maxed out, it could be a lot higher than what it's reading, and you use that as your, you know, reason to get out of there, I think that's completely fine, you know. Yeah, I've got an AKM bayonet somewhere, Peach. I don't know where I put it last time I was showing it, but I think it's, although they said it was an AKM bayonet, for me it looks more like an AK-74 bayonet. I'm pretty sure Draeger still does exist. Yeah, they do still exist because they still make masks. For under $50, the one I'm going to recommend you is this one. Now this, you can order them on eBay from Ukraine, and I think they do pretty much free international shipping. This is the Bereg, and the Bereg is interesting because it doesn't have a number display. It just has a green, yellow, and red, depending on how bad it is. Oh, look, he's back. If one of the mods can get rid of him while I get the Fiesta wear. So the great thing about the Bereg is it can just quickly tell you if you're at background radiation or not at background. So look, it's getting a bit high on the green now. I wonder why that is. Da, 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 da. The problem is with the prices of masks, they're fluctuating so much at the moment. It's really, really hard to say what's actually, you know, reasonably priced or not. What type is it? A metal one or a plastic one? If it's a plastic one, Bebop, you might just be best if you can to dismantle the mask, take it out and cut a new bit of plastic to the size. You know, make sure it's sealed in properly so it's not going to let air leak around it. And then do that. If it's a metal one, it's mostly just a case of gently putting pressure on it to try and get it to bend back to its original shape. Puffins, yeah, I like puffins. I've seen them once, which was in Scotland, on some like cliffs somewhere up on the coast of Scotland. But you know, they're nice looking birds, aren't they? FHK says, I'm glad to know you. Nice to know you as well. Hope you enjoy your time spent on the videos talking with people. Dakoda Rafter says, do you know the price range of the Airbus LBM? Every site I've checked asked me to request a quote, which I've done, but yet to be contacted. I assume that's because it's more of like a newish military mask. They're probably going to be like way over 300, 400, 500 pounds or dollars. You know, they're probably going to be like FM53 style prices. I tend to not go to masks that expensive to review just because, you know, they are a lot of money. And personally, in terms of, you know, protection for a regular scrub like us, you know, good tier surplus or new sort of industrial masks will be fine. You know, so something like an LBM or an FM53 is technically a lot better than the CT12 or an FM12. But for a standard person without formal CBRN training, this is just as good in a sense, because I don't think, you know, thankfully we're ever going to encounter anything so scary that you'd want a top of the range brand new, you know. I can do another one at some point, Gabriel. No, the regular Therapy Harris is cheaper than the Therapy Plus. The Therapy Plus is meant to have a slightly bigger operational range, I think, and it has the beta flux density function. But for the most part, I'd say for most people, just go for the standard Therapy because the display at least updates to say like microsieverts, millisieverts on the display, rather than basically assuming you'll know roughly what strength your sample is. Jazz's Life says, I love your voice. Thank you very much. Help on purchasing FFR filters. Isn't the Scott FFR just takes regular 40mm filters? I've not got the newer GSRs, Brandon, which are made by, you know, companies that actually have quality control. As long as they get the Bereg TU email, I don't think it matters, really. Because, again, if it doesn't turn up and you bought on eBay, you have eBay buyer protection. Oh, what? So, yeah, they were infected masks that he was reselling. Oh, dear. CFF free filter, isn't that like the French or Italian one that's fairly recent? No, I don't, unless it came with a random mask and it's in a satchel somewhere. I know which filter you mean. I'm sure it'd be completely adequate, but I don't have one. Baked beans and cheese on toast is amazing, Briggs. What I would recommend, though, is baked beans, like you said, and cheese on toast. Because if you were just going to say baked beans on toast, it's not as good as baked beans and cheese on toast. I haven't actually had it in quite a while, but at least be a 7 or 8 out of 10. Because, we're plebs in England with what we like to eat, But I also just like baked beans mixed with other stuff, The Israeli M15 works with quite a few helmets, Nan. Just where it's got the top strap with like a buckle there, that can make it a bit awkward for some helmets. Oh, I don't know if you've ever been on the streams hype where there's like some Nazi guy comes on who's had like 50 accounts that we eventually blocked, which are all called things like, Sturmpanther and stuff like that, and every single like comment was like Zeke Heil or, typical Nazi shit. And he would just literally come on as soon as one account was banned, he'd switch to an alt, come on. It doesn't surprise me because, I'm sure people that do that all day don't have much going on in their lives. What I like, if you go to Iceland, you can get the Greg's sausage, baked bean, and cheese melts, or whatever they're called. They're like the steak bakes, but they've got those bits in. They're quite nice. It should work absolutely fine with the M88 helmet, Yonan, or the Pascut style helmets, because I'm pretty sure Israel used helmets like that at one point. So, I would go for the Norwegian Helly Hansen mask puffin guy, just because you can put 40mm NATO filters on it, no issue. Whereas the issue is with the Shums, as much as I like it as a mask, it's a GOST mask. So good luck getting GOST filters easily. That sounds good, boring Deputy John. We have like fried bread and a few kinds of what's that eggy bread is that? I don't know if I've had eggy bread very much. Like I think over here it is just called something as plain and simple as eggy bread. Well, if you can get one, Jazz's life, it's good if you're on public transport with it, because having a mask on is going to reduce the amount you're spraying your germs out onto other people, and it's going to massively lower your risk of getting it and therefore spreading it. But the problem is obviously regular people getting gas masks at the moment. It's not as easy as it used to be, just because of all of them being sold out everywhere. I need to look up dippy eggs, because I'm wondering if it's one of those things I've had that just has a different names. No, I've definitely had that. We used to call them like, boiled egg with soldiers or whatever. Yeah, but where you get a bit of bread and then you like butter it and you dip it in. Yeah, I've definitely had that. I had that a lot as a kid. I don't know, Connor. There's so many different names for all these different things. The thing I find funny is like when I went to Poland, pierogi was really nice. But pierogi in a lot of ways is just like a pasty, because it's essentially, a really similar thing. Obviously, it depends a bit how people have cooked it, but... Ooh. FM12 or S10, Brian. The FM12 is better because it's the replacement for the S10. I mean, there's a bit of personal preference of each one. That's the CT12 there, which is just the FM12 without the drinking tube. It's like, a filled-in bit. If I take the outserts off, but yeah, I mean, the major differences between the FM12 and S10, no NBC ridge around it, so it doesn't like NBC hoods don't stay on it as much, but it means it's more compatible with helmets and the weight and size is reduced a bit. That gun bag keeps wanting to fall over. Voice sort of trumpet front bit is the same, just smaller. If I pull that off, yeah, that's the same, just smaller on that bit. Main difference is much stronger eyepieces on this one. I think they actually use polycarbonate on these rather than like whatever the cheap plastic was on the S10. Otherwise, it's the same design but smaller. And that keeps falling over and irritating me. But the main difference, the reason a lot of people like these, is more comfortable fabric straps rather than the S10's old plastic straps. Not plastic, sorry, like, you know, rubber straps, but yeah. Alright, it's nice to have a few Scottish viewers on, especially like Scottish viewers are all right people, because apparently, you know, I think some people accuse me of hating Scotland just because we had a few Scottish trolls coming on, but I've been to Scotland. It's a very nice country. You know, and like personally, I couldn't give a shit if people in Scotland want independence or want to stay part of the Union, you know, although some people will keep trying derailing every conversation into that. But yeah, so how is everybody who's just joining? I wouldn't search it as M88 helmet. Are you in the UK, aren't you, your nan? Let me see if the armed police ones are still for sale, although at the moment the issue is lots and lots of this stuff is sold out. But the British police, the armed police actually have basically a Pasket helmet for the armed police, which is just like a modern produced Pasket. I'll see if I can find it. As I said, the problem is at the moment lots and lots of the police sort of stuff has sold out. This looks like the one. This is a size, yeah, this is the type of helmet. As this is a size small, you're probably not going to want this one. But that's the sort of thing you might want. I'm seeing if there's any others listed. A lot of them are like a bit overpriced at the moment, but yeah. Here we go. This looks like the thing you want. What size is this one? It says universal size, so yeah, I'd say this is a good one. It's not rare. The seller's saying it's a rare helmet, but there you go. That's one you'll probably want. What's the most modern piece of gear you have? Probably, well, this wouldn't necessarily be the most modern, I don't know, but these are pretty damn modern. The, you know, like British Army, the helmets they use now, with like the weird rear adjustable sort of clicking thing, like a bicycle helmet. I'm trying to remember the name of this, Battle Skin Revision or something, isn't it? But yeah, these are, this is like one of the most modern things I own. And these are really cool because they're not even Kevlar, they're like, what do they call it, thermoplastic? So they're these are really, really nice helmets when it comes to like protective ability. Virtus, that's it, Frank. Virtus helmet, or however it's, I don't like that word, it seems like a nose. I very probably could have done Dakota, but I can't remember. What's the oldest thing I own? The Schmitz Reuben or the Martini Henry would definitely be contenders. I think my Martini Henry is probably from the 1870s, so that's definitely going to be out there with some of them. It's the Orky mechanical ones because I got it to replace my IBM Model M when that was going, puffing guy. So it's a bit like one of those Cherry MX kind of rip-off keyboards, but just, you know, affordable and it's good. Let me find out the exact name for you if you want to know. I know there's been a few revisions of it, but I think it's probably this one. Pretty much hype, yeah. Oh, and you mean like the things on the phones? Like people have said, it's a bit Orwellian, isn't it? It's definitely a bit Orwellian and weird, but I can understand why they're wanting to do it at the moment. Yeah, Monty Python, Life of Brian FHK. My dad was watching The Meaning of Life yesterday. That's a good film. And then, of course, the Universe song got stuck in my head, Mike. KG Master, I got a really great jacket. It's interesting. It's hybrid of World War II jacket. It's 2 zipper and 4 pockets, but it's a jacket that's waterproof and literally and Brandon's window. Sounds interesting. If you're into surplus coats, you can find lots of weird old, like various attempts at making really good like infantry or like aircraft crewmen's coats, some of which are really comfortable. Yeah, I think Holy Grail out of all of them is probably the most enjoyable to actually watch, although Life of Brian, obviously, for most people, is the best. If it was just a hyped up flu, it wouldn't be killing as many people as it's killing, David. I mean, now it's an S10. You can tell it's the S10 because it's got the ridge around the top. If I got this mask out to show you the difference, notice there's no ridge on the FM12s like the S10. That's the main difference. And that bit's smaller to scale. And the nose is different on the S10, actually. S10s have bigger noses on them. Yeah, I mean, like what Hype says, I would agree with him there, because this is one of the issues, that always seems a bit weird to me when people bring it up is, I think you're a bit naive if you think the government isn't spying on you anyway, Regular flu kills a lot of people, but nowhere near what coronavirus is killing. All right, David, goodbye. If you're coming on one of these to just literally whinge at people that are being responsible and not risking spreading a virus, fuck off. That's my diplomatic way of saying it, Because here's the thing, like you said, you could be as skeptical as you want about a lot of the data and all that, but when you're literally saying, "Oh no, you're just a fucking naive sheep because you think this virus is real." Briggs said found and Polish military MP4 NVGs and Soviet-style tank out with other accessories. That's pretty good. I'm assuming the NVGs, though, are probably the first gen, the PNV 57A, but for 99 quid, getting a tank helmet, PNV 57As and a mask for that price, that's not too bad, is it? Basically, we're sheeple, Briggs, if we believe, Corona's real, essentially. What more viewers? FHK, you saying more viewers on the stream? More reviews? I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't pay that for an FM53. You got him about a second before I got him, Mike. Yeah, I've got a couple of night vision goggles. Here's the thing, Jack, right, though? Assuming you're a real person, not another alt of one of these people, you are going to literally kill people. You do realise that if you don't follow quarantine stuff. Well, I can't really show you night vision very well in here, but I'll get out the one Hype recommended, which is good. The what's it called? The Challenger, the Pulsar one. Let me flick that light off. I'll keep this cap on it so it's not too bright, and bad for the night vision. But yeah, there we go. This one. That's the IR illuminator on as well, but There you go. That's what this one looks like. It's pretty good picture. I'll put the IR illuminator off. That's it with the IR illuminator off, but as you can see, it's just looking through that little tiny pinprick hole there. So it would be a bigger picture and letting in a lot more light if I took that off. Obviously, you don't want to do that indoors with a light on because it will damage the night vision. So I'll turn it off now anyway. But, there we go. That should be slowly going down in a minute. How much was it hype? Can you remember? I think it was the seller that had them for like £200 odd, wasn't it? Pretty much brand new, rather than like the RRP of 300 odd. I have never spent £20,000 on night vision FHK. Yeah, because you paid a bit towards it, didn't you, Hype? So big thanks for that. I'll have to go on a walk with it now they're getting less restrictive on lockdowns at night again, you know, as something nice to go out and do in the evening, I guess. But as in riot shields, boring Deputy John, I have one big one, one small one, and I've also got a ballistic shield over there. D&B Militaria is where I got most of my DX from antique guns. That's all right, Alex. I don't think you will have done, in all honesty. You know, we get a lot on anyway. And it's quite nice to have, you know, like it being an article that's a proper thing. Because like I said, there's been all the doxing and all the other stupid shit going on, you know, before you ever said about doing an article. So I really don't think it was you, in all honesty, and thanks again for doing an article. You know, I think, like I said, a lot of it is just where you get the people who get very offended when you don't actually follow their political ideology. You know, which, because the thing is, people could come on and watch the videos and have any ideology they want as long as they kept it to themselves. You know, but when people constantly go on about how much they hate whatever group of people or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want you here with that sort of opinion. And then it's suddenly, oh, you know, there's something personal now because you don't let me comment about, you know. Yeah, that's all right, Alex. But yeah, it's just, yeah, like I was saying, because obviously it makes you a bit wary for a period when you've got like the police turn up and then people threatening to dox you because, oh, I don't like your opinions about stuff. Generally, at this time of day, we get less trolls on, but I doubt, you know, sometimes it's just whenever they've decided to get on. My favourite World War II rifle? Well, Sturmgewehr 44s would be really cool, but I don't have one. I've only got a deactivated Lee Enfield and M1 carbine out of the World War II rifles, but the M1 and M2 carbines are really cool. Yeah, that'd be good, as long as you can get one that's air rifle compatible, Briggs. Because the problem is with some air guns, the recoil from air guns can be really damaging to scopes and night vision. Who knows, Emil? You know. No, I don't have any ghillie suits. I've actually got a proper thing that was advertised as a camo sniper suit, which is basically just a full body camo a full body camo sort of, you know, boiler suit type thing that then has like a mask bit that goes with it, gloves and like the boot covers. As I've already said, Brandon, I'm not going to give them attention, you know, because that's what they want. If I need to, eventually it will be a case of, you know, getting a lawyer involved. But hopefully, you know, they're not too stupid to keep up at shit like that. But, you know, I'm not going to get into the stage of putting accusations out online about other people in a lynch mob style thing, because that's what they want, and then they can deny it and then say, oh, look, I'm the person, you know. Right, let's see, Boring Deputy John. I've got a Yugo M1 gas mask, a Yugo M2 or Serbian M2, depending on which sort of time period they were from. The helmet that's behind me. a couple of the old camo jackets and whatever. So that's the Yugo helmet, that one. Yeah, Bovington Tank Museum's very good. I went years ago, but the only Norwegian thing I can think of, puffin guy, off the top of my head is that Helly Hansen mask. So probably that, because I don't actually have much Norwegian surplus. I'll wait for some proper comments to come in again. I'll be off fairly soon anyway, but so what I'll probably do for the video then, film for tomorrow, because I think that's the best idea somebody mentioned in the stream, was explaining the difference between like gas mask filters for stuff like Corona and, you know, actual chemical weapon stuff. Yeah, that would be good when all that stuff starts going back to normal, won't it, Hype? And like I said, then I can post you your thing as well. Right, let me search that up, Alf, and see what it is. Right, I have to wait for the chat to move so I can get that. eBay item. Oh, I fucking hate YouTube chat when it tries to move every time I'm trying to copy and paste something. It's not actually working for me for some reason. Let's put the item number in again. But when I was trying it, it was not coming up with... Oh, that's cool. So yeah, what's that? A 1950s... So yeah, it's like... I assume that's the German equivalent then to something like the PNV 57A. Or it might be closer to the E, I don't know. But it's a cool looking thing, isn't it? It says it's passive, so yeah, I guess it is Gen 1 then, but it's a cool looking thing. Yeah, it's got a massive sort of front lens on it, hasn't it? That's cool. Hi, Rajiv. You all right? Somebody was asking about you again the other day. It could be high. For the money, I think it's probably not going to be all that great, Gen 2. If I didn't have any night vision, I had some money, that was definitely guaranteed to work. That'd be quite an interesting thing to get, I reckon. But all right, see you, Brandon. That's a pricey Briggs when you see how much certain types of night vision cost, but oh, that's interesting. Is that the optical tube it uses, Hype? Ah, yes, that is the intensifier tube. Oh, do you mean the Starlight scope, Briggs? I think the Starlight scope was the name of the really old American, and the ones Britain bought as well from America. The massive scopes with, yeah, the big IR like searchlight for them. Yeah, the traffic has been quite quiet today, actually, saying that, Rajiv. When I went to the pharmacy and back, it's been better than it's been some days of people just deciding, like, oh, let's go out and drive around randomly. I've got some stuff from Denmark email, but it's normally other nations surplus Denmark bought and then resold as surplus later on. Yeah, I've got the Mark 6 and the Mark 6A. Cheers, FHK. I'm glad you like the videos, though, but it's not my birthday till October, I'm afraid. But I've got some Velcro patches, but I had some ones from Stalker. I've got like Freedom ones. I've got them on one of my helmets somewhere. If it's brand new, you might be able to get quite a bit for it. But generally, I think these would be like sort of $100 to $200 price point masks. but I don't actually know because I was lucky enough to, have somebody who'd supported me on here and then basically go, oh, I think I might be able to find you one. KG Master said, my 1940s M5 gas mask and you and the 1954 original Japanese Godzilla film got me into making a mixed army collection with my movie props vintage figures collection. I want to thank you. That's cool. Glad you found something you like collecting. That's interesting, Emo. But anyway, I'll be off in a minute. Alex says he's off to check for grey hairs. Yeah, I'll have to be shaving mine soon, I reckon. Hype says the German Ferro F51 definitely still has electrostatic focusing acceleration which is used in Gen 1s and very, very early Gen 2s. Later Gen 2s ditched electrostatic because accelerated electrons destroy microchannel plates, literally only a few hundred hours of tube time before it shits the bed entirely. The microchannel plate also made electrostatic acceleration less, as the plate itself raised the gain by a lot more. That's interesting, but yeah, so it's one of those things that wouldn't be that worth it in a sense because the more you use it, the worse the image gets or just conks out. Yeah, there's more people on now. Yeah, I'll be off in a minute, but don't forget to like the stream as you go off. Actually, I'll tell you what, because this will be a more interesting video for a lot of people, I'm going to open this filter up on a video, bin the contents, and then try and make a very basic particle thing to breathe through for it. But yeah, anyway, I will see everybody and I'll be off. Hope everybody's well. Yeah, but I'm off now anyway. But yeah, see you all. And yeah, I won't be on the stream again later today, but I will be streaming tomorrow. I don't know what time yet. Yeah, see you all. Thanks for joining in the chat. And we only had a couple of crazy people on other than, one of the trolls.